Hi, my name is Borys, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 types of house drum patterns. We'll be dissecting 3 house subgenres: Melodic House, Tech House and Afro House. Before we get into the video, if you like what we are doing on this channel, make sure to subscribe. We've got more content on music production and Ableton coming up. If you'd like to learn Live 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out our Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course, and make sure to check out our Melodic House, Tech House and Afro House academies, all of which are packed with courses in sounds. Alright, so let's jump into the video. First of all, we have a track called Do You Remember? It's a typical Melodic House drum beat, and let's just play it. Okay, so let's dissect what's going on here. First of all, let's start off with the most basic track, the kick drum. We have a very clean sounding kick drum. As you can see, it's just a sample with some EQ on top, nothing major processing wise. Then on top of this we have a clap on an audio track. Also very acoustic sounding, so we're just low-cutting some the bass frequencies from this clap. Here's an important element. This is an offbeat clap, but it's actually a noise sample. It could also function as a hat, but in this case we are getting a sort of offbeat clap sound out of it. Yeah, this sample, dry, sounds like this. It's in fact a hat, but we are driving it with overdrive, doing some white noise processing with erosion. And then EQ8 is just limiting the frequencies to the mids, frequency shifter, additional processing, some compression, additional EQing, side chaining, and also reducing the width. And yeah. So basically a hat became a clap in this way. Okay, so we have this and we are also using some groove. We are using the MPC 16 Swing 58. And this already is giving us a little bit of groove. But on top of this we have some toms, and let's just play both of these toms together. And even though there's no groove applied on these MIDI tracks, this adds quite a bit of bounce to the overall beat. That's because these are placed in sort of offbeat positions, so here and here. These toms really make it bounce. This tom is quite regular, quite usual. But this tom is in fact a kick drum. It's very low sounding, but we've just EQ'd out the very low end. Would sound like this, wouldn't fit. But yeah, you can actually turn also a kick drum into a tom this way. Okay, on top of this we have hi-hats, and there's quite a few layers. Here are the hi-hats. Okay, so first of all we have regular offbeat hi-hats. Nothing crazy. On top of this, very minimal processing, just some chorus for widening. Here we have a shaker. This drum rack has 3 samples. And yeah, we are layering some of these and using the groove. Yeah, maybe we can play this with the kick drum. It's a major difference with the groove added. We're just messing around with the velocities here, repeating this pattern with every kick drum. On top of this, we have some closed hats, just following the shaker. Just EQing on top pretty much with compression. This is actually a tambourine style percussion sample. Just with some chorus on top for widening, and yeah, just another hat. There's some lower frequencies here of the hat, adding the erosion for that noisy feel. Yeah, all of these elements sound quite organic. Let's play everything. And this with the clean kick drum really fits this genre. Then on top of this we have a cymbal with some reverb and EQing, and we also have white noise from Serum. It's just playing basically a noise sample, but you could also play it in a simpler. It doesn't matter that it's Serum, so Serum is absolutely not required for this. We're just adding, for example, this vinyl distortion. Just adding this crackly feel to it, which is really nice. Mostly just processing with this auto filter here. Just cutting all of the lows. And yeah, that would be all the tracks for this one. And let's maybe take a look at the bass processing or the mastering on this. We just have EQ, very minimal compression, just some limiting towards the end. So let's move on to the second example. This is a tech house example. It's a track called One Come Down from one of our latest tech house academies. Let's play it. Okay, and first of all, let's just take a look at the kick. And let's disable the processing actually, for now. So this processing is adding quite a bit on top of this kick drum. The kick drum is quite short. We're shortening it here in the one-shot mode. We're adding drum bass for additional drive and also transient shaping. We're adding pedal for more additional drive. We're also shaping it with EQ, boosting some of the highs here, cutting the very, very lows. And this envelope follower just doesn't do anything right now. So let's take a look at what else we have. We have this clap group on top. These are 3 tracks, all audio tracks. We have this sample, for example, panned to the right, this sample panned to the left, so we are creating stereo interest this way. And we also have a centered longer sample, which doesn't play every time, so also giving a bit of variation here. We don't have any processing here, we just have mostly processing on the group, and we're just adding EQ, reverb, saturation, limiting. Pretty standard processing right here. Without the processing, it's just saturating it and limiting to give it more power. Let's take a look at the hi-hats, and here we have quite a few tracks, so let's take a look at each of these. First of all, we have an offbeat standard hi-hat with some overdrive, just very, very subtle, and also cutting the lows here on the EQ. Here we have some stereo hats, also panned left and right, just like with the claps. These are just boosting this main hi-hat. Very subtle in the background, but these small details really matter overall. And yeah, we just have the width boosted all the way to 400% here. And yeah, we're just panning them left and right, and this creates a really nice stereo image. On top of this, we have a shaker. Very standard sound, but we have rand pan enabled, so this also adds randomized panning in our stereo spectrum. Limiting the frequencies with the EQ, just cleaning it up. And that's pretty much it. On top of this, we have some top loop. And yeah, this top loop is playing in sync with our main hi-hats, so it's not that present. And on top of all of this, we also have a texture. Right, and we just have it cleaned up with EQ. And yeah, this just adds that grit on top of all of the hi-hats. You can't really hear this sample, but you can definitely feel it overall that the track is getting gritty with the overall mix. And then on top of this, we have a perk group. Yeah, so the percussion group is really nice because without it, the track sounds quite basic, actually. Let's listen to everything we got. And the perks actually give our beat this really characteristic groove, this stuttery sound with offbeat snares. And especially this track, the snare subgroove, let's just enable this one. These offbeat snares, that's what really adds the bounce to this beat. And so on this one, not really much processing going on, but these offbeat snares are really, really crucial here. On top of this, we also have some percussions towards the end here. And here, for example. And if we enable the 3 other tracks, we have a crash, tom, and a percussion sound. Let's play all of the perks together now. Yeah, in my opinion, this really adds that extra touch on top of it to make it all groove. We just have some drum bass and reverb on top of this perk group to make all of these perks feel consistent. And on top of this tech house beat, you can see we have a Duet Studios actually mastering chain. Basically, we're doing some mid-side processing, cutting the sub from the sides. We're doing some glue compression, multi-band compression, and limiting towards the end. Pretty standard processing, actually. Okay, so the third example is going to be a track called Feel So Alive, and this is an Afro House track from one of our latest Afro House academies. Let's hear it. So what we have here is a kick drum, first of all, as always. Quite a basic kick drum, just reducing the frequencies around 1K. Okay, and on top of this we have claps. And this already adds that typical Afro House groove. I think the most important track here is this claps group here. I've also shown it in one of our earlier tutorials how to create this sort of groove. And this is a typical reggaeton style beat. Maybe we can play it with the kick. We're only just moving this part to this one. We're creating this nice Afro House style. We just have a lot of layers on top of these claps. For example, this Afro percussion, this clap, it's just dense layering to create that elaborate and full sound. There's not much to describe about these samples. These are just layered on top of the claps. That's a curious sample, actually. We have a tom layered in here. And the tom also adds a nice touch because it's got some reverb on, so it's actually pretty spacious. And then we also have a perk here. All in all, these claps are really what's driving this beat. Then also we have these hi-hats here, basically all of the top elements. Let's hear this. Okay, so first of all we have some hats. Very regular hats, not much to explain, just side chaining going on here. Just 16th notes playing. Then we have a shaker. It's just a shaker loop. You're going to find many more of these in our Afro House pack and the Academy. We also have a small shaker, accenting the one every time. We also have a perk loop, just for texture. Another shaker, playing with this one. Then we have another top loop. All of this is coming together and we are just using EQ to clean all of these layers up. Mostly it's just sample selection and careful layering. Yeah, on top of this we have a tambourine loop and also a hat, which is playing with this. So all the top elements. And with the claps. And with the kick. And on top of this beat, we don't have much processing, just EQ, cutting some very, very lows, and just compression and some limiting, but it's not really doing much. Alright, I hope you'll find this house drums tutorial useful. Make sure to check out our Music Production Academy with lots of start to finish courses on making tracks in various genres. And if you'd like to learn Live 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out the Beginner to Advanced Live 12 start to finish course. Make sure to also check out the Melodic House, Tech House, and Afro House Academies, all of which are packed with courses and sounds. All of the links you'll find in the video description. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, write a comment, and I will see you in the next ones.